2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, leave it in the ring.
And welcome back to another edition of Leave the Ring Radio. I'm your host, Dave Duenez, with my co-host, Amilcar. What's going on, brother?
Good, Dave. I don't know. It feels like we haven't been on for a while.
Right? Well, you know what? You know why? Because we haven't been on our regular schedule, which is Monday at 5 p.m. You know, actually, the reason I didn't come on for Monday because my son turned 22 years old. I'm getting old. And I wanted to hang out with them all day. You know, we ended up doing a bunch of stuff, went to San Francisco and, you know, hung out there in the pier and walked around. And surprisingly, it was pretty dead in San Francisco, man. I loved it, to tell you the truth, because there was really no traffic. There was a lot of parking all over the place. I wasn't high strung because normally when I drive out to San Francisco, man, because there's so many bad drivers out there, that you're literally like an old lady with two hands on the steering wheel trying to hold, you know what I mean? And it was nothing like that, man. But happy birthday to my son Tristan, 22 years old. And it's just for me, I'm getting older, getting closer to death. That's the way I look at things there, Amilcar.
We all
are. Anyways, everybody, hey man, welcome back to the show. If you haven't yet, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you hit that little, you know, jab that little bell there so that you're notified when we go on live here on Leaving the Ring. We have a lot to talk about. We've got a very tight schedule, so we're going to start rolling pretty quick here. You know, one of the first things is we're going to do the lineup. On the lineup on here in Leaving the Ring, we're going to talk about Devin Haney, his performance over at Gamboa, getting a unanimous decision. We're also going to talk about, Canelo and Plant was canceled, but it was quickly replaced with the rumor and the talks are about is that Callum Smith is going to have first dibs against Canelo. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then you definitely got ESPN upcoming fight, which you're going to see Terrence Crawford, one that's considered one of the best pound-for-pound welterweights right now in the division, against Brook. But then we're also going to talk about the heavyweights. Luis Ortiz made his return back on Fox Sports. We got to definitely talk about the Phantom Punch there. But first off, really quick, big news for us, I guess you could say, for Leaving the Ring and our listeners. I first want to thank our listeners, because if it wasn't for our listeners and the people that have literally have followed Leaving the Ring for over a decade now, what I'm about to say wouldn't have happened. So really, thank you for everybody that tunes in and supports us and stuff. But we're now officially on Pandora. Okay, so if you type in Leaving the Ring, you'll definitely see. You can definitely find us. Make sure you follow us there and hit the like button. It just helps us out. Get the podcast out there to more ears and to first-time listeners that haven't came across. Leaving the Ring. So, you know, if you guys can do that, and again, like I said, if it wasn't for you guys, it wouldn't have been possible, man. But it was a big victory for myself, you know, because and for the team, you know, and even the past team in the past, you know, from Gabriel Montoya, Strikeheart, Chris 916, Felipe Leon, Lenny the lawyer, Red, you know, Blood, David Chin, the list.
That takes me way back.
Yeah, you know, Art from Stand and Fight. God, I don't want to miss anybody's name. I don't want anybody taking an insult if I miss your name and stuff, you know. Evan Rakowski from Aficionados, Kurt Emoff from Boskin Esquire, Steve Kim, all these guys that have come through Leaving the Ring and went off and started to do their own thing or not. And then all the new guys that are now on the rotation Leaving the Ring. If it wasn't for everybody involved, that wouldn't have been possible to get us in so many different platforms. So we have basically covered all grounds except for Sirius Satellite Radio, Amilcar.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get on that at some point. That would be awesome too.
It definitely would be, but I don't know. I like staying free. I don't know how that would work out. I mean, if they approach us, I definitely wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no automatically, but I definitely would have to find out how does it work. Because we don't want to, especially our loyal listeners, we don't want to, snub them off and make them feel like, well, now we got to pay to listen to you guys. No way.
I want to work behind the paywall for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, first up, hey, let's talk about this week in fights here. I mean, that's why we're starting off the show, and then we got a bunch of other stuff we got to cover here on Leaving the Ring. Ortiz Gamboa against Devin Haney at the lightweight division. It was on DAZN. It wasn't a very anticipated fight at all, right? But
no.
In some odd way, it was. Well, I mean, some folks were saying it wasn't entertaining. Me and Midnight Boxing, John from Midnight Boxing, we did a round by round. I got to watch it live. I sat there, had a few beers. We talked about the fights and stuff each round. But I got to tell you this. I thought Gamboa effort was a lot more, than I thought he was going to be able to do with Devin Haney, because I just thought that Gervonta Davis really honestly was so out of shape and had such low interest in that fight that Devin Haney was going to go out there and just blow him out of the water and kind of prove that we were right about Gervonta Davis' tank, right? Because of the fashion that he did against Leo Santa Cruz with that beautiful uppercut that made everybody go, wow, and possibly got that KO into KO of the year. But Ortiz Gamboa went out there healthy and pretty much stayed in every single round. Now, he didn't win any of the rounds, but he definitely was still in the fight, right, Amilcar? And he definitely he was putting up an effort. And definitely I saw Devin Haney, having to struggle in adjusting to what Gamboa was doing when Gamboa bum rushed him, crowded his punches. There was definitely a discomfort for Devin Haney. It wasn't the performance that we thought that he was going to give, but it was a good enough a performance that it was a shutout on his case. But did it leave you with an off factor about him? Did it leave you believing that he can be competitive with the rest of the lightweights? I mean, where do we rank him from there?
All right, so heading into this fight, I really felt that it was kind of a showcase fight for Devin Haney. We haven't really seen Devin Haney up to this point take on any kind of high-level competition at all. He walks around with a title he claims to be a world championship. That's obviously disputed because Teo has the franchise belt. And he fought, let's be honest, the 39-year-old, all right?
Right.
Yuri Ortiz Gamboa is older than me, and I feel old and creaky at times, and have struggled to do kind of the workouts I did when I was a younger guy, And he's a small fighter. He's not a 39-year-old super heavyweight. He's a 39-year-old that was not even a big, at least tall featherweight. He's, I believe, 5'5". He's got very short arms.
T-Rex arms.
Yeah, even at 126, he was not a big featherweight. I mean, he was muscular, but he wasn't tall.
No.
And honestly, I felt that just the youth and the size advantage that Haney has would have led to at least a technical knockout, if not a knockout. But, it's difficult to judge fighters like Haney when all you get to see them against low-level competition. So I was not impressed by Haney at all. And we can discuss kind of where we rank him at lightweight, but I just don't think he's even in the conversation as one of the top lightweights at the moment.
Well, it says right now, I'm sorry, just to interrupt this really quick. G-Funk said in the chat room that YouTube is down. I can't see or hear anything.
Yeah, I've been having an issue as well. I've been trying to load up YouTube, and I've just been getting error messages. So I think that's happening to everybody. Every time I refresh the page, I can't see anything. And that's all YouTube videos. That's not just our page.
Okay, so maybe we should just stop and not do the show right now because nobody hears us or can see us.
Yeah, I get an error occurred. Please try again later. I'm not too sure what's going on there. What happens when you go to YouTube page?
I don't know. Mine just it says the same thing. Something went wrong. Tap to try again.
Yeah, same thing.
All right, I think we should just stop.
All right.
And fuck, dude.
Yeah. Did you stop it?
I haven't stopped it yet. Let me stop it.
I'm thinking maybe we could record and upload to the channel at least.
Yeah.
I mean, if YouTube's down, we can do that, no?